quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. It's where we all began. Welcome to Lazy Dog Typewriters. Howdy folks, and welcome to another edition of Lazy Dog Typewriters. What you see in front of you here is a Royal Heritage Deluxe. And let's gaze in appreciation at this beautiful baby blue, slightly turquoise typewriter from Royal. This was made in it was made in 1962. And it was a dealer exclusive, a distributor exclusive, I should say, as I understand it, for Montgomery Wards. Montgomery Ward sold the Heritage, and we have done a review on the Heritage under the Royal Futura brand name. So the Futura, to clear things up, was the main brand, and that the dedicated models that were sold exclusively in Montgomery Wards were sold as Heritages. And what I don't quite fully understand is what distinguishes a Heritage from a Heritage Deluxe. Don't know, and hopefully we might be able to find out by just examining this one. So we talked about the Googie Style in our previous video, which we'll talk about in a moment, which is about the Jetsons and how the space age era design and art aesthetic is reflected in this. So you have this very pretty curvy, but also super angular.
And the space bar is kind of curved-ish, and maybe it's just the curves that make it different. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very subtle observation, but that's a good point, Kevin. This does curve up, and that is interesting. I didn't even notice that until you mentioned it. Normally, a space bar is flat and straight across, so complete observation there, Kevin. But let's get to it. Let's just give you the basic overview of the features. This is 1962, and it's a portable, but we have a full dedicated keyboard with a dedicated one exclamation mark, a plus and equal sign. We've got what Royal terms magic columns, clearing, and settings. So those are just your tabs, of course. It comes with the magic margins, so what you do is you press and hold that button while you hold the carriage release, and then whenever you release it, that's where you've now set your margin. It's pretty simple, but it can be a little confusing, because what people tend to do is they push the magic margin button, and the magic margin goes flying right where they are, and they think, oh my gosh, I've locked my typewriter. So, and also sometimes these magic margins are a little bit persnickety in that they will stick, and they will stay in one place, and instead of releasing, you have to come back to the back and access them manually and reset them. So that's just tools of the trade. So back to the overall feature set. Full keyboard. We have our tabs, which are called magic columns, backspace, course, tabs, margin release, full keyboard. Kevin mentioned that we have kind of a bulbous rounded space bar, which is kind of neat. This is really fun. In order to release the ribbon cover, you do not just yank up as you do on the Smith Corona 5 series. Instead, you touch the Royal logo, and it releases. And a lot of times you'll find these are messed up because people have yanked on them and they've bent this little catch mechanism. This machine offered a touch control. You've got a whole lot of touch control lever from 0 to 9.
Yeah.
10 settings. I'm not sure you really need that. This is a manual ribbon reverse mechanism, so you just flick that over. Over here on the inside is your ribbon color selector. I find it a little curious that Royal decided to hide that function, because you have to, of course, open the ribbon ribbon cover lid, in order to access it. So you've got red, white, and black, white being stencil, which we know really uses, a paper bail with 2 rollers. You've got a plastic paper support. You've got a paper guide right here on the edge. You have 2 carriage release levers, which is kind of nice, one on each side. You've got your line selector, 1, 2, and 3. I don't know why people would need a 3. I prefer 1.5, but we don't have that option here. You have your paper tension lever here, so you can adjust your paper as you insert it. You have a freewheeling lever here, which releases the clicks on your platen. Put it back in. Now you're in full clicky. And of course, you have a push button here, which allows you to turn into freewheeling mode also, without returning to the position you're at. All right, that's a quick overview of this machine mechanically. Here's your turn lever, of course. Can you get the logo in here, Kevin? Royal Heritage. This is etched
Yep.
in, but then this is a decal. It's painted on. And when you have the Royal Futura 600 and 800, you'll see that this is etched in here. And that's a great opportunity for a segue. Let's try to look at a comparison between the Royal Heritage Deluxe and a Royal Futura, which is, of course, its brother, distant cousin anyway. I'm not sure if you got this in frame, Kevin, but this is the handle for the case for the Royal Futura, and that's a rare sight because you almost never find these Futura cases with their handles intact. They just have a weakness, a design flaw that makes them break. But okay, so let's compare these. This is a 1964 model, as my helpful sticky lets me know. One thing that I do notice, we have the same spacebar, of course, but we've changed the keys. The keycaps are taller and thicker in the later model Futuras. I'm not sure if just the Heritage was temporarily in 62 and they switched over or not, but at least in 64 that's one obvious difference I can see. But other than that, I don't see any functionality differences between the two that would make one a Heritage, say example, and a Futura. So it's purely, this is a Montgomery Ward's exclusive. It looks like the color scheme would be exclusive. We've got a white logo with a gold lettering as opposed to the red and the gold. Either way, the same corrugated look. I just love how these machines look. So the cases are really nice. The Heritages, especially the gray ones I have seen, some of them have a turquoise blue background inside the case, which is really, really pretty. And it's funny because they tend to be more of the basic model in theory, because this clear card guide on the Royal Futura 800 is kind of an upgrade. Also, it has this kind of snazzy paper support, and we don't have that paper support on our Heritage. So that's one minor difference between the Deluxe, Royal Heritage Deluxe, and the Royal Futuras, is the paper support here being absent. Alright, let's close this back up, and we'll do a quick typing test.
Typing test!
Okay, before we do our typing test, let's just check out the case. This is the case for the Heritage Deluxe. Slightly different than the leatherette, brown leatherette for the Royal Futuras. It's gray with black. It has the same interior locking mechanism here, hinge point upon which it connects. All in all, very nice case, very useful, utilitarian. And these seem to be in pretty good shape, even though these handles almost always break. So it's a miracle that I have a couple that still have their handles. I have replaced these on other ones, and that's also in our other video. But let's go ahead and start typing. Put our paper in. Use our nice guide right here, right up for 0. This machine has a 12-character branch Elite typeface, which looks really well, works really well, and we have a blue and green custom ribbon installed. So let's check it out. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. It's where we all begin. Oops, backspace, begin. Alright, Kevin, can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yep.
Alright, we're good. Alright, so this is a 12-character branch, and that's one of the ways you can tell that if you're looking at Typewriter and you don't know, well, is it pica or is it elite? What is it? One of the dead giveaways is if you can see the paper bail, if it goes up beyond 90 into the 100 range, you're pretty much guaranteed to have an elite or 12-character branch typeface, which is what we have here. And it looks really slick, and of course, it looks great to me when I get my reading glasses on. Not so great without it. Maybe you're in that camp, maybe you're not. Touch control, I have it at 3. So just kind of it's a very soft, it's kind of like, I don't know, it reminds me of the old Lincoln town cars back in the day, early 80s. They're just smooth, they kind of glide, but they're not super springy. And that's how I feel when I type on some of these Royals, the Quiet Deluxes, and the Royal Futuras, and this, of course, the Heritage, are all kind of the same iterations on the same design. It's very nice, very simple, very comfortable, but not super snappy like a torpedo or something along those lines. Very good machine all in all, and a great machine for a beginner or someone like me who's not the best typist. Just really comfortable to type on, short throw, but comfortable. Yeah, so the pros and cons overall, again, the pros, it's very analogous to a Smith Corona 5 series, going into the 6 where you've got the Galaxies and the Super Sterlings. I think the design is just so iconic. I love this wedge shape. with the curve. It's kind of it's just rockets and spaceships and the Googie design we talked about in our previous video. And it's just a perfect snapshot in time of the early 1960s. This is 1962. Pretty much every bell or whistle you could want in the machine. Nice bell, there we go. You can hear that. And just an all-around great machine. I love it. I've never seen one that's blue like this in my collecting so far, so I hope you enjoy it. And we thought it was worth making a separate video, even if it is just an iteration of the Royal Futura and the Royal Heritage itself. This is Royal Deluxe. And Kevin, what you got?
I have to tell you that there's going to be a little bonus thing in this episode.
Well, let's do one bonus, because Kevin mentioned it last time. Maybe we should do some Underwoods. And we happen to pull one out that we have that we're quite proud of. This will be a sneak peek maybe of our next review. This is an Underwood Champion. It's a 4-row, 4-bank machine from 1933. Unlike a great many of these Underwoods, it still has its original ribbon spool covers. And we just really love this machine, and we'll be taking a look at that real soon. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Yep. Please like, subscribe, and share.